Hello, everyone. James Baker, CPA here. And today I'm going to tell you what happens when your Stripe account gets closed and what you should do next. And stay to the end because I'm going to give you other options of other payment processors you can use and also tips on how to avoid your Stripe account getting closed after you set it up. Okay, so let's just get to it. So you need to process payments for your business. Clients need to pay you and you need to accept payments. And being able to accept debit and credit cards is an essential way to get paid because convenience ultimately at the end of the day is what matters. If I have the option to pay someone with a wire or someone with a credit card and it's the same service, all things aside, I'm paying with a credit card or with a debit card just because of the convenience. I have my credit card memorized. I can type it in. I don't have to log into the bank, add your thing, get a text, go back and send a wire. It's annoying. And especially my friends in e-commerce and my friends selling like low ticket things, or if you're selling like a tripwire that's like $50, or you're selling like a cheap or any kind of product really, you need to have credit card processing. And the problem is for many of my clients who are outside of the country, it's not as easy. Or maybe you're set up in your country, you're set up in Belgium, you're set up in Singapore, but you're selling to Americans, so the currency conversion is crushing you, bringing the money back. Because when you're selling outside of your country, Stripe or PayPal is even worse. But I'm making another video about PayPal, so subscribe to the channel and you'll get notified about that one. But you're getting hit with fees, and if you're selling primarily to an American audience, which let's be honest, Americans are awesome to sell to because they buy stuff and they spend a lot of money. If you're selling to Americans and you don't want to deal with currency conversion, it's easier to have a US company potentially and a US Stripe account or a Stripe account dominated in US dollars. And I'm making this video because it just happened again last week. A client of mine was set up in Stripe and they had their account closed. And now they're wondering how they continue with their business, how they keep invoicing clients and customers. And I've had Stripe accounts closed, and I want to go into a couple tips that I can give you to not get your Stripe account closed. And then we're going to go into what some other options potentially are. When you're opening a new Stripe account, especially in the US, it's really important to season the account, to start with smaller transactions, to start doing transactions every day, every other day, and gear up to the point where you are trusted by them. Because from the perspective of Stripe, their whole business is risk-based. If you are a high-risk business, they don't want to work with you because what happens is you charge someone, they pay the money to you, it ends up being a fraud, and the credit card company takes the money back from Stripe. Now Stripe is left on the hook for that money. So if that's why they have to assess risk, because in the worst case scenarios, you set up a business, you get paid out, and then like I said, someone says it's fraud and they charge Stripe back for the money, but Stripe doesn't have it, and you move the money out of your account and they can't get the money back and they're at a loss. So that's their business. That's how they protect their business. It's all based on risk, and how they base their risk is an algorithm, surely. And no one knows. No one can comment with complete certainty how the algorithm works because it's an algorithm. It's complex. But I'm telling you, the first thing is easing into it. The second thing is not having chargebacks or disputes. Those are huge red flags. And then watching what currencies you invoice in and having really clear business information. So with certain things, as I've gone along, because I've been using Stripe for a long time for multiple businesses, and I've just processed a lot in Stripe, and I've had Stripe accounts closed down for sure. I've opened Stripe accounts for new businesses where I started invoicing too much too quick, and Stripe just closed me down. And I'll give you some more tips as we go. But it's when you have an existing business, like for myself, I have an existing business and existing client base. If I have a new product or new offer that I can share with them that can help them, and I sell it to a lot of people all at once, but it's a new Stripe account, even though I have a reputation with them, I have an account that works, they can still kick me out of that account, send the money back to my clients, or hold my money for 1 to 6 months. And I have money on hold with Stripe for 6 months. I haven't had any chargeback issues. I haven't had any fraudulent stuff. It's really just risk based. And Stripe knows me. I have Stripe accounts that have processed for 3 years that I use to this day still. And whenever I set up new accounts, I still have to deal with that initial period. So it's good to start really slow for a month, maybe 2 months if you can, or just like not have any issues with it, and no chargebacks and no issues, because if you want to sell, it's hard for me to tell you not to sell, but that's a big issue with Stripe. Another thing is that the information really needs to match. You want to be using your own domain, You want to be signing up with an email from your domain. You want to have all of your business documents with the right names on them, with the right ownership and everything being reflected correctly. And you need to do all of your KYC information, like answer all the questions they tell you. What usually happens if you're at a little bit of risk, they will first ask for more information. They'll ask for maybe some pictures of inventory, some pictures of your products to make sure that it's all legit. But once they start asking you questions, they're going to probably ask you more questions. They're changing their policies. You know, it's a big business and they do a lot of processing. It's still the easiest one to get started on. So it's still the easiest processor to like just get rolling on right away. You can open an account really quick, but they are starting to close a lot more accounts. So that's why it's really important to, like I said, have your custom domain, have your email on that domain, to sign up with all the proper information, all the right forms, and then to ease into the processing a couple transactions each day, so that you don't get kicked and don't get blocked right away. And after you've been with them a long time, they're a little bit more flexible in the amounts you can charge. And it gets to a point where they don't really question anything. And that's where I've been charging in different currencies. I've been playing around and really pushing it to try and get these Stripe accounts pushed and banned and blocked. And to that end, I've also applied it probably over 20 different payment processors. And I'm going to make a separate video that goes over how payment processors work and where you find them and what the differences are, because it is quite a complex industry where they have the banks that process the payments, they have the technology, the intermediaries, and then they have the people that help you sign up. It's not a perfect explanation, but that's kind of how it works. And Stripe is all in one, which is why it's so easy to use, because they have the software, they have their bank integrated, and then they have also other tech integrations, and it plugs into so many different invoicing software. So Stripe is a great option. Unfortunately, your Stripe account was closed. So what is next? Well, there are other options. Like I said, you can Google search payment processor. Unfortunately, for many of my clients, you guys are located outside of the US, so it's not quite as easy. For me, I can use Square. I can use, there's a lot of the really popular ones. Like Square is super popular. I think it was bought by, it might have been bought by PayPal. It was bought by one of the big tech firms, and it's they're investing a lot into it, but they only work with US residents, and they have a way to they have a software integration where they can tell if you really are a US person or not. They don't use ITINs as the last time I checked, and you just can't use it if you're a foreign person, and you can't invoice in foreign currencies. So there's a lot of issues with Square and with the different payment processors. So I've been compiling a list. If it's not down there, it'll be down there at some point. But I've been compiling a list of different payment processors, where to apply, how to apply, if you can apply as a non-resident, and different ways to go about that. And often if you're non-resident, you can't just apply directly. You need to have some kind of workaround. You need a US company, and it's a little complicated, especially if you're just starting. If you have history invoicing in other countries and other businesses with other platforms, then that helps a lot. And it's much easier for them to make exceptions, because again, it always comes down to risk, and it always comes down to how much risk the banks and the processors are willing to take on to allow you to process your payments. And some of them will hold your money for a long time. Like if you're using Hotmart and you start with them, they'll process, but they're taking 10% and they're holding your payment. So it's good to have a backup plan. Like I say all the time, an extra bank account, an extra payment processor. It's good to be set up with all of that stuff. And if you need help setting that up, we'd love to help you. That's what we work with a lot of our clients on this. I'm not essentially, but I am a tax expert, and I focus on taxes. But so much of our business is helping people with these ancillary services and these ancillary things that you need to grow and run your business. Because at the end of the day, if my clients aren't making money, they're not going to be clients for me anymore, or for anyone. So I want you guys to make money. I want you guys to be successful. And that's why I'm making content like this to kind of give you some information. I'm telling you, having had multiple Stripe accounts closed and having helped clients who've had Stripe accounts closed, you can open more, but you have to really start slow, and you have to have all information matching and on point. And you also, if you can invoice in US dollars to US people, it helps as well. But good luck to all of you. If you like the video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video. And contact us and schedule a call if you have any questions about that, and we can do that too. Okay, so thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video, and I want to share some things I have to offer you. If you're looking for help expanding to the US or fixing a tax problem, the quickest way to contact us is to schedule a free call in the description below, or at visiting jamesbakercpa.com/schedule. If you want to skip the line and speak with me directly, there's also a link in the description to schedule a call with me, which is another great option. I encourage you to join our Telegram and Discord groups, because in there we're announcing when I'm going live. I'm participating. I'm answering questions in real time. It's all free, and it's a quick community to engage with other entrepreneurs and people like yourself who are international and learning about this stuff. And I think it's a really valuable place to be. And at the end of the day, if you just subscribe and see me on the next video, that works too. So thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.